Welcome to the Make Me Whole podcast. I'm your host, Josette Rosado, and it's time to talk getting past what's typical, trusting our own abilities to do more, and keeping it that way. Hey, welcome back. I'm so glad that you are here with me today. And let me tell you, this has been a really long week for me. So the fact that I am even here talking to you today just goes to show how that 5-second rule works. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to last week's episode. You'll find all the information about that there. But this week, I was thinking about some of the people that I've run into who have told me about how hard it has been to literally shut off their brain. This resonates with me because I can remember a time where I was having the same kind of issues. You know, the demands we have now, especially now, make it seem like we're on every day, all day, 7 days a week. And I know that it's caused a lot of people increased anxiety, insomnia. Really, what a lot of people are saying is they just can't turn their brains off. That overactivity of the brain is a big problem for a lot of people. But I wanted to talk about some helpful things that maybe we could do to help quiet things down. So, first of all, you have to give yourself some mental and physical wind down time. When you're working out, you warm up, cool down. Same thing happens with our minds. Sometimes in any given day, we don't have enough time to get everything done. And, a lot of people are doing housework, homework, things for their jobs, managing their finances, all up until it's time to go to bed. And the problem with that is that when you're trying to go to sleep, it isn't just an on and off switch. You need to wind down. You need to dim the light in your mind in order to set it up for good sleep. It's really a good idea to leave at least an hour before bedtime to relax, wind down. And in doing so, it helps close off the day and give your brain some time to shut down. Also, that shutting down should be somewhere outside of your bedroom. So you keep the lights dim around the house and avoid anything with a screen if possible. See, when we go to bed watching television or using our telephones, it makes the brain think like it's still daytime. So it's going to stay awake. It's going to stay processing. Some things that you might want to try replacing are reading, maybe some stretching. This is a good time to get out that notebook and journal or meditate, whatever works best for you. Next, don't worry while you're in bed. When you're lying in your bed and your mind is just racing, it's just teaching your body that your bed is a place to stay awake. So if your mind is still going, just leave the bed and understand that you shouldn't be lying in your bed longer than 20 minutes doing this. Some of us kind of keep the clock on. This is where we look at the watch and say, okay, if I go to sleep right now, I'll have 5 hours of sleep. If I go to sleep right now, I'll have 3 hours of sleep. No, cut that all out. What you want to do is go to another room, sit where there's not a lot of light, and do something quiet, calming, relaxing. Some of the things that you were doing when you were first trying to wind down. Even getting out of bed, no matter what time it is, can help you stop the racing thoughts. Believe it or not, there's also something to be said about counting sheep. It's called mental imagery. When we're in our beds and our minds are overactive, it's really hard to focus on anything else. For example, if you count backwards by threes from 100, that's one way to stop the overthinking. It's helpful to separate productive worry from unproductive worry. So, not worrying is the best idea, right? But productive worry is when we feel anxious about something, we worry about it, then we do what we have to do to solve the problem. Unproductive worry is just that. It's unproductive. When you're in bed and you're worrying about some of the things and stressing about something that happened before the day ended or another time, another place, and it doesn't help you get any solutions done. One of the ways to combat this is making a to-do list. It helps get all those things off your mind. So maybe before the quiet time, your wind down time begins, set some time aside and take out a piece of paper and then write down the things that you have to do or the things that are bringing you concerns, the most important on the top, and so on. Then think about the next step or the solution you might be using to solve that issue. And of course, you may not find the final solution, but at least you're taking the next step. For example, if you're in a job that you don't like or currently unemployed and you know that you need to find a job for financial reasons, the next simple step can be look through the help wanted ads online or send out my resume to 5 people. Breaking down things into smaller, simpler goals can help keep unproductive worry from even getting anywhere. If it's something like take the garbage out, write the next solution like I'm going to take it out in the morning. If there's no way to get a solution to the problem, then write that there's nothing I can do about this. If there's no way to identify the next step to a certain problem that you have, then you need to write that down. There's nothing I can do about this. So worrying about it is only going to make me more anxious and I'm not going to be able to sleep. Keep that paper next to you at nighttime. And if you begin to overthink and the mind is going again, remind yourself that you've written everything down. And especially for those things that you don't have solutions to, speak to yourself about how there's nothing else that you could do at night to take care of the problem. It takes practice, but this technique can be really, really helpful. At the end of the day, if these things don't suit you or you're feeling like you're not getting rest and you're not able to shut that mind off, maybe it's time to consider seeing somebody like a doctor. First of all, I always tell my clients, go talk to your neurologists, your primary doctors first, make sure there's nothing physical. And then once you get that done and all your health is checked off as okay, consider seeing a therapist, someone who you can speak to, especially when it comes to excessive worry, because keeping it inside isn't really helping much. And it's really time for us to start focusing more on growing the positives and the strengths of ourselves, as opposed to worrying if we're ever going to get there. Thank you so much for your continued support and listening to the podcasts. Don't forget to reach out to me on email at makemewhole@bossesofbliss.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Bosses of Bliss and on TikTok at Blissful Boss. Remember, complain less and do more. I'll see you next time.